Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the OAA's Board of Directors November meeting. Today, the first thing I'd like to do is establish a quorum, which, from what Tony's saying, we certainly have that today. The next thing I would like to do is recognize our new board members. That would be Dr. Jenny Sachs and Ingrid Barber. So, welcome. There's great work ahead of you, and we're so happy to have you as part of this team. And we'd be more than happy for you to say a few words if you'd like at this time. If you choose not to, that's fine as well.
I just want to say thank you for welcoming me to the board. The staff has been so helpful during the transition, and I'm just excited to serve.
Great. You'll find out that this staff is top notch. Sounds like you already have.
I just want to echo that and say I'm really excited to be here and do some good. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. It's an exciting time for us, and we've done a lot of great things throughout the Commonwealth, but there's so much more that we can do. So it's great to have you part of the team as well. Yeah. So the next thing on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from the June 5th meeting. And I think everybody can see those online or has been distributed to those. Do I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The next thing on our agenda is I think we're going to turn it over to our executive director for his report. Tony, take it away.
Thank you, Senator. Well, the very first thing I want to do is give a warm welcome to Ms. Erica Tanner, who's joining the call right now, our latest staff member. If you look at the slide, you'll notice the portion of the Commonwealth there that's the district that's colored in yellow. This is the part of the state where we've had, I would say, the most challenge with building rapport with cities and counties, and we've had the least amount of grant participation. And so it's been a goal of ours to bring somebody on to be the local government liaison in this district for a while. And I'm glad we held out because I think we got the perfect person. Erica comes to us from the Southside Planning District Commission, where she's made a lot of contacts with community members throughout that yellow area. And she also has a background as a school teacher and as a counselor in Hanover and in I'm sorry, help me out here. Which other county, Erica?
I was in North Carolina, Warren County, North Carolina.
Great. So welcome, Erica. We're very excited to have you as part of the team.
Absolutely. And Erica, and on behalf of the board, we can't wait for you to continue the great work that we've already started. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
All right. Next item has to do with the OAA having contracted with two different professional services firms. The first of those is Consociate Media. I sent an email to the board about a month ago detailing the contract of what Consociate is going to do. But essentially, they are storytellers. They're going to help us build out our communications platforms, including social media, which we don't currently have, but we're going to get all of the different social media channels. But the big thing they're going to be doing is doing a highlight of programs and projects that we have funded around the state. They're going to start off with 6 program highlights. There's going to be videos that go with those. There's going to be storyboards. They're going to do interviews. They're going to interview local community members and members of the House of Delegates and senators, and really highlight the good work that's being done around the Commonwealth with opioid settlement funds. And so we expect at least 2 or 3 of those stories to be out and up and running by February. So very exciting to have them on board and help us with telling our story. The other firm that we brought under contract is an accounting firm called RSM. They're going to be doing a couple of things for us. You'll be hearing in a moment about the OAA's first audit that we went through by the Auditor of Public Accounts. And they've dinged us on what I would call some policy details and some things that we don't have fully documented. And so RSM is going to help us fully flesh out all of our organizational policies, both the ones that have already been developed and help us to fill in the gaps that were identified by the APA. But they're also going to develop an audit manual for our grant recipients, so that our grant recipients will have a manual they can refer to see exactly what it is that we're going to be looking for when we come knocking on their door to make sure that they understand the rules. And then finally, RSM is going to be doing some pressure testing of the OAA. They're going to be doing some risk analysis of everything that we do, so that the next time we get an audit, that we will be fully prepared for that. And so the board gave me the authority as executive director to enter into these contracts back in June, and I just thought you'd like to know that they're both up and running at this time. Just a few comments about the foundation. I've already reported to you that the foundation has been legally established. I've got the board members of the foundation listed here on this slide. Our very own Tim Spencer was elected as the president of the foundation. They've had several meetings recently, some really good discussion. They signed the agreement with the OAA for some seed funding that the OAA is going to be providing to the foundation. In return, the foundation is going to launch a best practices conference next year. And I'm very pleased to announce that as of this afternoon, we have finalized the dates and the location for what we're calling the 2026 Best Practices in Substance Use Abatement Conference. This will be the first of its kind statewide substance use conference for Virginia, targeting community leaders, local elected officials, appointed officials, healthcare providers, and service providers, vendors, the entire ecosystem, all in one place, specific to Virginia. It's something that I think there's a lot of interest in. You may have seen a survey that we sent out last week, and we sent it out to hundreds of people, and the results that we got back showed that 84% of our respondents indicated that they were either very or extremely interested in attending this conference. After a great deal of due diligence, the foundation settled on the dates of June 15th, 16th, and 17th. So that's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The conference starts after lunch on Monday, and it's all day Tuesday, and then it goes through lunch and finishes early afternoon on the Wednesday. That same week, Friday is a federal holiday. It's Juneteenth. And so we think that's going to be something that really attracts people to attend, because they can take Thursday off and call it a week. And so this says that the finalist locations are either Roanoke City or Virginia Beach, but actually we solved that today. It's going to be at the Hotel Roanoke on those dates in June. And so I'm happy to pause here for a moment to see if there's any questions about this conference, but just understand that the train is moving quickly, and we may be reaching out to you for ideas about speakers and topics and panels and that sort of thing.
Any questions for Tony?
Fantastic. And then just a quick update on our substance use disorder abatement platform. So I think on October 16th, there was an educational session for the board where many of you were able to see a demonstration of the SUDA platform. If you weren't able to attend, we can arrange a follow-up of that. I really recommend it. This is just an example, one screenshot of what this platform looks like. This is, I'm probably not supposed to be sharing this because it's not public yet, but the first release that came out October 1st, you have to sign an NDA, and there's only a couple use cases that are shown on it. What you're seeing here is going to be the public landing page. So the general public will be able to access the information you're looking at here. This is coming out on December 3rd, and you'll note that it provides a pretty deep dive into information, including substance use risk assessment for all the different cities and counties across Virginia, and including over the course of multiple years, drug supply and usage trends from the state lab, service utilizations. This combines everything we have from CSBs as well as from the all-payer claims database, which is huge to get that, and some data and dashboards on impacts and outcomes. And finally, an overview of where the OAA grants have been going. And so really a lot of information that the general public will be able to access. And that's going to come right after Thanksgiving. And so I'll be sure to share that information with members of the board once it's live. We do have one more release that we're planning after that one, which will be at the end of January. And in addition to all the other use cases that you see listed on this slide, we're going to be presenting some actual analytics that have been done by VCU in cooperation with the Virginia Department of Health on societal impacts of opioid, the economic impacts on society from job loss, from losing young people and so forth, as well as some data on drug arrests across the Commonwealth, and then particular focus on youth impacts of substance use. So usage trends, overdose, illness, that type of thing, which I think is going to be very eye-opening for a lot of folks. And so that, Mr. Chairman, concludes my report. I tried to move quickly, but I'm happy to answer any questions that members of the board may have.
Thank you, Tony. Any questions for Tony on that report? Hearing none, we're going to move on to the next item of business, and that's the treasurer's report from my very good friend, Delegate Sewell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. I would like now to provide the treasurer's report, which will include an overview of items presented at the most recent Finance Committee meeting that occurred on September 28th. So, the first item that we discussed included the tentative findings from the Auditor of Public Accounts audit of the OAA. The audit wrapped up in late July, and APA audit staff provided 2 letters that included some management recommendations to be included in the final audit report. Those 2 items were, 1, that many of the OAA's financial and administrative policies and procedures haven't been formally written out and memorialized as actual approved policies and procedures. And the other is that while the OAA they contract with the IT service and security provider, we have not formally adopted an IT security standard and corresponding IT governance program. So as a result, OAA staff responded to the management recommendations with a letter concurring with the APA's findings, and staff have already begun to address the issues identified in the audit. Next, there was a discussion regarding the OAA's partnership with the external accounting and audit consultancy, and the OAA has sought assistance from the firm RSM, as you just heard Mr. McDowell reference, to immediately address the APA and management recommendations, and will expand upon that to provide some additional services that will be implemented in a phased approach. So phase 1 will entail engagement that includes assisting the OAA with compiling all existing and newly developed policies and procedures into one comprehensive policies and procedures document. And then phases 2 and 3, respectively, will involve creating an external grantee operational compliance manual, and for RSM to provide continuous monitoring of the OAA's administrative processes on a quarterly basis. And this arrangement will ensure that the OAA immediately addresses all noted findings reflected in the APA's audit report, as well as ensure that OAA continues to comply with its own established policies and procedures, as well as grantee reporting and operational compliance requirements. And then on the next slide, the committee was given a preview of the OAA's new purchasing policy. As many of you may recall, the Code of Virginia exempts the OAA from the procurement provisions of the Virginia Public Procurement Act, which allows our organization to respond quickly and prudently to any procurement needs associated with its core mission of abating and remediating the opioid epidemic. And given that exemption, it's necessary for OAA to clarify and document its procurement policies and procedures in a way that preserves the autonomy, while also provide but ensure that there are prudent rules in place that govern purchasing and procurement. And staff has prepared a draft policy, which, when finalized, will be before the full board in June as part of a comprehensive policies and procedures manual. The draft policy provides for the delegated authority of Mr. McDowell as executive director for the purchase of goods and services for the administrative operations of the OAA. And it should be noted that the policy does not pertain to grants or other assistance made by the OAA to cities, counties, or state agencies. And last, but most importantly, the policy follows all applicable laws and requirements governing the use of the state-issued small purchase credit card as well as the large procurements conducted by DBHDS on behalf of the OAA. And lastly, the committee was presented with the OAA's efforts to improve its communication and public relations capabilities, which you've already heard about. And with over 200 OAA funded abatement projects positively impacting communities throughout the Commonwealth, it's really important that we have the resources to tell our story and that this amazing work doesn't go unnoticed. So with that, OAA staff solicited proposals from different public relations firms. And as already noted, they moved forward with Consociate, who was selected, and they've already begun their work to develop and implement a comprehensive communications and public relations strategy for the OAA. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions for Delegate Sewell? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to the Grants Committee report. Dr. Thomason.
Hello, everybody. The last Grants Committee report I provided to the board was on June 5th of this year. Excuse me. And so now I'm going to describe the 3 meetings that we've had since that time and the actions that we've taken. So we had a virtual meeting on August 1st, and at that time we received an update from our Director of Operations, Mr. Linicum, and that included the current status of grant activities and a review of the recommendations for amendments, renewals, and new awards to agencies of the Commonwealth. And we approved awards for 38 projects across 18 state agencies, totaling $14 million. We then had an in-person meeting with a virtual option at the Prince Edward Rescue Squad building in Farmville on September 26th. At that time, we received an update from Mr. Linicum that included recommendations for amendments to fiscal year 2026 city and county awards, amendments to city and county planning grants, and amendments to state agency awards. His presentation also included a review of the equitable distribution policy. We approved the amendments to city, county, and state agency awards and the equitable distribution policy. We also welcomed our new committee members, Ingrid Barber and Daryl Washington, and we elected Mr. Washington to serve as the committee's vice chair. And then to conclude, we had a meeting today, just prior to this meeting that many of you attended. We received an update from Mr. Linicum, and that included recommendations for amendments to our fiscal year 2026 city and county awards, recommendations for 2 new city and county awards, and a summary of the updates to our grant and award terms and conditions. We approved the amendments and the new city and county awards, as well as those updates to the terms and conditions. And the new awards total around $81,085.50 in individual distribution funds. So the next scheduled grants committee meeting will be in person in Richmond at the General Assembly Building for January 20th, 2026. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my grants report.
Thank you, Doctor. Any questions for the Grants Committee report? Great work. Next up, we'll hear a report from the Director of Operations, Charlie Liticum. Go ahead, Charlie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move through this fairly quickly since you all were on for a lot of this presentation that I gave to the Grants Committee earlier. But quick update on grant operations, tracking all the award packages for city and county distributions and awards. 27% as of last week have completed the necessary steps. And we have completed our carry forward true-up reviews, and we're currently reviewing annual reports. None outstanding there. State agency awards, all the MOUs are out. Many have been returned. We have all of our carry forward reports in, except for 1 that has an approved extension, and all of the annual reports are in, except for 2 that have approved extensions, and we're working on reviewing all of those so that we can provide any updated MOUs based on potential changes in award amounts, so let's carry forward true up.
Hey, Charlie, this is Tony. Mr. Chairman, I just need to interject for a moment because I really want to underscore something that Charlie just said here. So for the awards that we provided for cities and counties this past spring, and we had the money ready to be transferred early July, and we sent out notices to cities and counties that their application had been approved. We've heard back from 27% to a level where we can actually send the money. Now, there's many more that are in the process of communicating with us, and thanks to our liaisons, they're reaching out and contacting these cities and counties, and we're going to get there. But you have a small staff at the OAA, and this is killing our folks, this backlog. And so I think it's important for the board to understand the challenge that this presents in terms of being able to go from receiving an application, awarding it, and then being stuck where we're not able to actually move forward with the grant. And when there's a good reason, that's fine, but sometimes there's not even a reason. And so this is the issue that's been causing me some anxiety and the reason why we were updating the terms and conditions. And so I apologize for the interruption, but I think this is a key issue to bring to the board's attention. Charlie, I apologize. I'll move to the
No,
next.
no problem. Thank you, Tony. An outreach update, some highlights. I don't think I was able to cover everything, but some national conferences that have been attended since the last board meeting. I attended the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners conference and got some good connections and some good information that I'm working into to the grants compliance program. I also attended and presented, along with some colleagues from North Carolina and South Carolina, to the National Association of City and County Health Officials Conference. This was a very, very good conference and will be in Louisville, Kentucky next year. And I'm planning on submitting one, maybe even two options this year to present. And I think it will be a very good conference for our outreach team, local liaisons, as these people are frontline people actually that are doing and implementing and working through various types of abatement programs. And then Tony also presented along with Dr. Mueller from, that should say VCU, not VAU, at a conference from the National Institute of Health. Statewide, Tony presented at the CSB conference. Cindy spoke on a panel at Appalachian Center for Hope's Reviving Hope in Our Backyard. Tony and I presented to the Virginia Government Finance Officers. Cindy attended and exhibited at the Association of Addiction Medicine conference and was also able to provide a recognition plaque at one of the general sessions to our former board member, Dr. Thompson, which was very well received. I presented to the Agriculture and Rural Steering Committee for the Virginia Association of Counties. Erica, Kat, and Jenny exhibited at our table. The VACO conference probably continues to be our best and highest engagement of local administrators and elected officials outside of our own general outreach that we've been doing individually. And actually, right now, as we're speaking, Erica and Cindy are attending the Virginia Rural Health Association's Rural Health Voice Conference in Winter Grit. Next slide. Some other highlights and outreach updates. Tony introduced Erica. We're very happy to have on. She slid right into the team like she's been here. So October was filled with onboarding and training and team building with her. And we have officially kind of adjusted all of the titles. It had been abatement outreach coordinator. That often got some people that were not quite the right fit for job titles. So we've changed to local government opioid settlement liaisons, which really focuses on what they do. Colloquially, they're the liaisons or your OAA liaison, that to more specifically refer to them, updated the business cards and their titles on our website. The team did a site visit to the Northwest Regional Adult Detention Center up in Winchester to see their MAT program, which we were partly sponsoring. That is an incredible program that continues to grow and does a lot of amazing things. And then also after the VACO conference, a number of us went and visited the Allegheny Highlands Community Service Board, which is the Allegheny and Covington project to see the progress on their CSB One Stop project. That really looks amazing, and it's going to be, I think, transformational for that community when it's done. Very well put together plan and process in place. I can't wait to see it when it's open. Some of us have been doing work supporting the Operation Stop awardees. And then as usual, the liaisons continue to meet in person and virtually with cities, counties, and other organizations supporting current awards as well as helping develop potential applications. Next slide. So this slide is now outdated. I just got a report in my email, and I haven't had the chance because it just came up as I was starting to present to figure out who it is. But we're now actually at 68 gold standard localities. We crossed the 50% mark back earlier this year, so very excited about that. At the VACO conference, we had this blown up into a 4x3 poster board and was on easels behind us, and it created a lot of conversations and engagements, especially with elected officials, and hope that will result in even more localities signing on here. We do expect by the time the current application period closes in March to have more coming through, as some of them have been working through their individual tranches that just haven't signed up for gold standard because they haven't needed to access the funds yet. Still have a goal of getting everybody on board for that. And then the last item for me to present is the overview of the updates to the terms and conditions, which I did cover just recently on the Grants Committee. Usually when we have processes related to grants, the Grants Committee is presented with them first to provide their questions, feedback, and support before it's brought to the full board. But you can see the context here of the code requirements, why we have what we do with the terms and conditions, and the purpose of the updates. Next slide. These will be effective for awards starting on or after July 1, 2026. So we like to be able to provide these things ahead of time. Did not apply to the awards that the Grants Committee approved today or may potentially approve in January. This will provide times for cities, counties, and state agencies to review them before applying so we can provide context, clarity, and support, and gives time for OAA staff to provide some additional resources, guidance documents, webinars, etc. for them regarding the changes. Next slide. So the newest item is the OAA acceptance requirements, which Tony talked about again just a minute ago, where we're putting some timelines around awards and when they need to be formally accepted by, which includes signing the award, which is the signing of the acceptance package, and then when all of their contingency documentation, which is often like memorandums of understanding or contract with subrecipients, contracts with vendors, operational agreements amongst cooperative partners, and those types of things. W-9 forms, so we have the financial information for DBHDS to transfer the funds, things like that. So you can see that basically awards that are starting at the beginning of a performance period have 90 days to accept and 120 days to do the required documentation. As for the new awards at the top and the renewals at the bottom, the award types of awards that happen within a fiscal year, which is usually new individual awards or amendments, have a slightly shorter time frame because we have to get these things taken care of so that the next year's renewal can also be processed. So 60 days to formally accept and 90 days to get the required documentation. And then next slide. The process for those that fail to adhere, the award could be rescinded, and the city and county could reapply. They also may provide details for the executive director to provide an extension, or the executive director may allow the performance period to continue and amend the award amount to 0 for the current performance period, whereby the city or county may request funds as part of the next available deadline. And the last paragraph just basically says if an issue with the OAA's grants board was preventing a timely filing, the cities and counties, that will not be held against them in their timeline. Added some information for compliance review. This is really just some structure around things that we'll be doing related to our what we call our operational reviews, on-site reviews, looking at data and performance of the awards, and what may happen if there are some issues such as things like creating performance improvement plans. And we've also added some more specifics around subrecipient and vendor monitoring, because basically all cities, whoever is the recipient of the grant, the city, the county, the state agency, the fiscal agency, the county, they're ultimately responsible for what happens with the funds, whether it's done by their staff or a subrecipient or a vendor. And so it's reminding them of that and making sure they also ensure regular reporting of activities and achievements, because that information is required for amendment and renewal applications, as well as annual reports. And the rest of the items are incorporating things that currently exist either as contingencies, instructions, or guidance, including making sure that everyone that's involved with the application reporting process is getting our newsletter update. That's our official form of communication for requirement changes, announcements, updates, all those types of things, notifying us of changes and issues, submitting everything through the grants portal, making sure that a city or county or executive or designee or state agency head are signing documents as appropriate, or providing delegated authority when it is someone other than those two, using carry forward balances to continue operations in the new year while award acceptance for that new year is being completed, and that the final report required at the end of an award will the last annual report be considered that. Next slide. OAA is always required separate accounting, but now having it more specifically spelled out in the terms and conditions. And so this looks at all the different types of funds, non-OAA and OAA. They all need to be kept separate so that we can know which item was spent out of which bucket, so we understand the balances and what is being carried forward and what is being requested. And we also do not prescribe what that method looks like. We're happy to work with and review any number of options. It just needs to be able to be tracked back that way. Next slide. Application amendments require status update, the amount spent year to date on their funds, the status of their objectives, and the amounts achieved year to date on their performance measures. We also call that progress reporting. They have to submit it through the grants portal. They have to be in compliance. Depending on what type of budget change is submitted, all budget changes need to come to OAA. Ones that are in the current year and in this within scope can be approved by staff. Ones that are outside of the fiscal year and or scope have to come back to the grants committee. Next slide. Renewal applications, they have to be filed every year, as long as if the project is going to continue to operate into the next fiscal year, and a renewal application has to be filed. It has the same requirements of progress reporting as the amendments, and it also may include amendments itself. If it's a competitive application and they want to ask for an increase in competitive funding, they have to compete for that increased amount. Same compliance, that it has to be done through the portal and they have to be in a compliant status. Carry forward is only generated through the renewals, which require a projected spending for the end of the year. To calculate that amount, those amounts then get trued up after the end of the performance period. And then any carry forward must be expended or encumbered to 80% before the next year's funds can be transferred. And the uses of carry forward are restricted to reduce the amount of funding needed in the upcoming or the renewal year, to support an approved budget line item that was not able to be completed in the current year, or to support a one-time purchase of an in-scope item. Next slide. Fiscal agent requirements. So these have been in various places. So this consolidates a lot of different things into one spot as a reference point. For every cooperative partnership, this is what this really applies to, has to designate a city or county as the fiscal agent, and they have to maintain that role throughout the grant, or a new application would have to be filed by a new fiscal agent. They have to coordinate and execute an operational agreement. They're responsible for coordinating and obtaining information from partner subrecipients and vendors, and separately account for funds. And they also have a process in how the funds are supposed to be spent based on the approved budget, the order in which the different funds are spent, and then the deadlines. They're also responsible for ensuring everything is filed by the due dates prescribed by OAA. And our last item is the annual reports. The annual reports include, but are not limited to, narrative status update, the final expenditure and carry forward amounts, and the performance measures achieved. They have to attach a copy of their general ledger showing the line item transactions. If it's a cooperative partnership that has matching funds, the fiscal agent's got to collect the ledgers from those cities or counties that have also provided or spent funds, OAA funds for that. Deadline is October 1st, which is an extension of our original deadline of September 1st. That seems to be the time frame that cities and counties need to get things done. Does provide OAA the ability to adjust that deadline if needed, but if it's going to be sooner than October 1st, need to provide information with at least 30 days in advance for the cities and counties. And same as before, that final year award will be considered the final. That final year annual report will be considered the final report. I think that ends my report.
Thank you, Charlie, for that very thorough report. Anybody have any questions for Charlie? All right, hearing none. Now comes the time in our meeting that we welcome public comment. We would ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. And if anyone has any comments, please raise your hand so we can recognize you. Kara, do we have anybody?
We do not.
Okay. Seeing that we don't have any, the next item on the agenda is that we can move on to new business. And I think the first item is election of officers. And Tony, if I'm not mistaken, do I turn this over to you at this time?
Yes, sir. Initially,
Okay.
you do, because the first office that we're going to be holding election for is the office of chair. And so the state code and the bylaws require that we do annual election of officers. And we'll be starting, as I said, filling with the position of chair. So for any of these positions, any member of the board can nominate himself or herself, or can nominate another member of the board for any of these positions. And we encourage participation. There's no need to second a nomination, but you're welcome to do so just to show support for the nomination. And so with that, I would like to initiate the nominations now for the office of chair. So I'm going to open it up to the floor for anyone who would like to make a nomination for the position of chair.
I'd like to nominate Senator Pillion to continue his work as chair.
Fantastic. We have a nomination for Senator Pillion. Is there anyone who wants to second that, or anyone who'd like to nominate another individual for that role?
I would gladly second that.
And I'll third it. I'll fourth it. Sold.
Okay, all those in favor of Senator Todd Pillion to be elected as chair, please vote at this time by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Congratulations, Senator Pillion, and I'll turn it back over to you for the position of vice chair.
Thank you all, and thank you for that vote of confidence. It is certainly an honor to continue to chair this committee. We do great work throughout the Commonwealth, and like I said before, there's many more things that we have to look forward to and doing. The next officer is the office of vice chair. I'll now entertain nominations for that. I'll be glad to make that nomination that we continue with Dr. Thomason in that position. I think she's done a great job, and I'd be more than happy to nominate her.
I second.
Same, yeah.
Thank you. Yep.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, please affirm that that recommendation and nomination by vote yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Congratulations, Dr. Thomason. to
Thank you,
continue.
guys. I really appreciate your votes of confidence.
Next up will be the office of secretary. Do we have any nominations for that office?
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, because I want to make sure everybody knows our current treasurer, excuse me, our current secretary is Mr. Spencer.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Then I nominate Mr. Spencer.
And I second that.
Third.
Right. Any
Yes,
other
sir.
nominations? Hearing none. All in favor of Tim Spencer to continue as the secretary, say aye.
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 All right. And the next office is Office of Treasurer, who is that position is currently filled by Delegate Brianna Sewell, and I would be glad to make that motion that she continue in that role.
I'll second.
Any other nominations? All right, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 All right, that motion carries. So we are continuing the same slate of officers. Tony, that should be easy. You don't have to change a thing. So we'll continue moving forward. So the next item of new business is the consideration of adoption of a policy of equitable distribution. Tony, do you want to talk a little bit about this, or are you okay with us going ahead and adopting the motion?
Yes, sir. Let me give just a quick bit of context on it. We did talk about this more at length when the full board met in June. And then the grants committee considered it and recommended approval. Basically, the state code says that when we provide grants, we have to award them in a manner that's geographically equitable across the state. And the challenge that we've had is that some regions just don't apply. And so it makes it impossible to award as much money to those regions as we're awarding to others. And so simply this policy would indicate that we'll do the best we can to come up with a equitable policy, but it's contingent on applications coming in. As I mentioned, Mr. Chairman, this was recommended by the grants committee for approval. It was attached to today's agenda, and I'd be happy to answer any questions before a motion is brought forward.
Any questions for Tony about this motion? Hearing none, do I have someone that would be willing to carry this motion forward?
I'll do that, to move to approve the policy of equitable distribution.
I'll second.
Right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. The next item, Tony, I'll pitch it back to you.
Yes, sir. Both during today's grants committee and during the subsequent board meeting, you've heard a report from Mr. Linekum about why we need to make some updated changes to our grant award terms and conditions. And this is simply the part where we need concurrence. Again, the grants committee has already recommended approval, and now we need the full board to consider this item.
All right, you've heard it. Do I have anybody willing? Do you have any questions about the motion? Do I have anyone willing to bring that motion forward?
I'll bring the motion forward to approve as read.
All right, thanks, Sheriff. Thank you, Delegate. That motion has been approved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries as well. So the next item of business, I believe that we need to go into closed session for a personnel item. If I could ask Mr. Spencer to bring forward this draft motion in the form of a motion so we could go into closed session.
I hereby move that the OAA board convene in closed session to discuss staff organizational changes and compensation of OAA employees pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1, and that Mr. McDowell and James Schliessman attend this meeting because their presence in the closed meeting is deemed necessary and pertinent to the issues to be discussed.
Do I hear a second for that motion?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 All right, that motion carries.
Someone else read this. Have someone else read the certification since I was not in the closed session.
That makes great sense. Mr. Schlesman?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Proposed draft motion that the board of the Opioid Abatement Authority certifies to the best of their knowledge that only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and only such public business matters as were identified
No, still in the meeting.
in the motion for executive session were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed session just concluded. That would be the draft motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Hearing the motion, do I have a second?
I second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. So coming from the out of the welcome back everyone from closed session and everybody that's joining us online. From the closed session, we have several motions that we would like to bring forward. If I could get Mr. Spencer. Mr. Spencer, do you feel comfortable making those motions?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, since I was or am a member of the Personnel Committee, the briefing that the rest of the board received in closed session I had previously received.
Right.
Therefore, I move and propose that the proposed staffing and compensation adjustments as recommended by the Personnel Committee and discussed in closed session effective first full pay period in January of 26 be approved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, Mr. Spencer, motion number 2.
I hereby move that the board approve the performance-based compensation for OAA employees who are under the supervision of the executive director as recommended by the Personnel Committee and as discussed in closed session.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion in many seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries as well. All right. Tony, is there anything else that you would like to speak on this evening?
No, so this brings us to the end of the prepared agenda. Certainly, before we adjourn, we usually, Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, if anybody has any comments for the group.
Yeah. Does anyone from the committee have anything they'd like to add or share with the group?
May I?
Of course. Ms. Ritter, go ahead.
Thank you. I know you've recorded the meeting. Will the PowerPoint be available?
Yes, ma'am. We post that along with the minutes on our website.
Great. Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Ritter. You as well.
That was a good point because I know that many localities utilize those PowerPoint presentations as guidance on how to complete applications for grants.
Well, sometimes I have trouble staying in my own lane. So we have terrific staff people as the lead. They weren't able to join us today, and I'd like very much for them to have that opportunity. It's hard for me to stay in my lane, so this is my effort to do so.
And I can also add that it's around the beginning of the calendar year, we will do this OAA staff will do a session about the update that includes the updates, reviewing the updates to the terms and conditions for localities that'll be available for anyone to attend. And that recording will also it'll dive a little bit deeper in and will also be posted our website. So
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, also I say that Madison County is the 68th gold standard locality.
Great.
What it is.
That's super. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else on the committee or staff have anything to add? Well, hearing none, I'd be more than happy to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Right. We have a motion. I'm sure we have a second.
Second.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Senator.
Happy Thanksgiving.